Welcome to lesson 5.9. This lesson is about proofs involving squares. Alright, so as always, we're going to go over the definition of that quadrilateral. So in this case, a square. Alright, remember that a square has two things. It got all angles or right angles, and all sides are congruent. Alright, they want you to write down slope and distance formula. So slope formula is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And distance is square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. Now, when it comes to proving that a quadrilateral is a square, you have to prove, again, the definition of a square, which means you have to prove two things. One, you have to prove that all four sides are congruent. And then you also have to prove that all angles are right angles. Okay? So the way you prove that is, to prove that all four sides are congruent, you're going to use distance formula. To show that they all have same distance, basically same length. And to show that all angles are right angle, you have to use slope formula. To show that the slope is negative reciprocal, meaning that the lines are perpendicular. So, you know, it is time consuming to prove something is a square, but it's not difficult. You're using both formulas, but it's pretty just substitution. Negative 3 comma 2, I'm graphing it. B is 1 comma negative 2. C is 5 comma 2. And D is 1 comma 6. Alright, first I'm going to prove that all four sides are congruent. So I'm going to find length of a B, which is just going to, I'm just going to substitute. So it should be 1 minus negative 3 square plus negative 2 minus 2 square. So that's going to be 4 square plus 4 square. That's 32. You can put that in the calculator. I don't have a calculator in front of me, so I'm going to leave it as a square root. Now let's go and find length of BC, which is going to be 5 minus 1 square plus 2 minus negative 2 square, which is also 4 square plus 4 square, which is square root of 32. Length of CD, which is going to be 1 minus 5 square plus 6 minus 2 square, which is negative 4 square plus 4 square is also 32, square root of 32. And then lastly, length of AD. So basically I'm finding length of all four sides, which is going to be 1 minus negative 3 square plus 6 minus 2 square equals to square root of 32. Okay, so I just proved that this square has all four congruent sides. But we're not done, because we must also prove that all the angles are right angles, okay? So we just proved congruent sides. We're only halfway done. So we must prove that all four angles are also right angles. So I'm going to do that work here. Alright, now we got to prove that all angles are right angle. Basically, the lines are perpendicular. So we're going to use slope formula for that. So we're going to find slope of AB Yo, I'm just gonna substitute it in, but make sure you guys label x1, y1, x2, y2, just to make sure you're not making any mistakes. So you're gonna get negative 2 minus 2 over 1 minus negative 3, which is negative 4 divided by 4, which is just negative 1. Alright? And then you're going to find slope of BC, which is 2 minus negative 2, and 5 minus 1, which is 4 over 4, which is this one. Now, these are actually negative reciprocals of each other. Because if you got negative 1, right, you write it as over 1 to make it a fraction. If you flip and change the sign, you're just going to get 1 over 1. So negative 1 and positive 1 are indeed negative reciprocals of each other. So far, so good. But we must also find the other two slopes. The slope of CD. It's going to be 6 minus 2 over 1 minus 5. 4 over negative 4 equals to negative 1. And lastly, slope of AD, which is going to be 6 minus 2 over 1 minus negative 3. 4 over 4, which is 1. Alright, so slope of this was negative 1. Slope of this was 1. Slope of this was negative 1. And slope of this was 1. If you look at the numbers, any two sides that are right next to each other, for example, AD and DC, alright, AD and DC, they have negative reciprocal slope of each other, okay? And that's what we wanted. Therefore, the angle got to be right angle. Same thing if you look at AD and AB. Do you guys see how the slope of those two is also negative reciprocal? 1 and negative 1. So the angle is right angle, okay? So all the angles are right angle because any two lines next to each other have negative reciprocal slope. And all sides are congruent because all of them have the same length. So let's just write down our sentence. So we're going to write down ABCD is a square because all sides are congruent or got the same length, and all angles are right angles, since the lines have negative reciprocal slope. Alright, that's it. So for slope, you have to use both formulas. You have to use distance and also slope formula for a square. Okay, good luck. You're going to do question number 2 and question number 3. And then I'll see you in the next one. I believe it's only question number 2 and 3. I'll see you next one.